Today Baba is giving us a warning in the Murli, and that warning is that Maya is in this time attacking us through two major weapons: negative feelings and negative intentions. And how does Maya attack us through these two weapons? Now you see, negative feelings and negative intentions will result in negative actions, and actions will create destiny. But how does Maya manage to infect us with these negative feelings and negative intentions? So the thing is, we live in a world where there is a lot of action happening, lot of activity happening, and then there are people with a lot of negative intentions who are coming into action with those intentions. And negative could be lust, anger, violence, greed, anything. So they are all manifesting their negative intentions in actions. Now, when you start thinking about anything negative that's happening, then consciously or unconsciously, that negative starts becoming a part of you. Yes, so, and the thing is, you see that which you never thought now becomes a part of your thinking, because you are thinking about what somebody else said or did, and then that same thought is being created inside you. And then when you, so sometimes you feel that you're compassionate and you try to feel the pain of somebody who is in pain, or so then that pain becomes a part of you. Or you see that many a times, these days there's this very strange phenomena that you want to understand the mindset of the negative. It's very interesting, even with regard to fictional characters, fictional negative characters. You want to become a psychologist and you want to enter their head and you want to understand their mindset. And when you're trying to understand their mindset, then you see that all the negative feelings of lust and anger and all the feelings that they are consumed by, you are also thinking about them. And when you're thinking about them, those feelings are becoming part of you. And you're trying to understand their intentions and how they thought this and then they thought this and the place they are coming from, and then suddenly in that process all their intentions have become part of you. And this is a very, so when your mind is idle, your man and buddhi are idle. So although we say we are very busy these days, but our problem is not that we are busy. Our problem is that we are very idle. And especially our mind and buddhi, they are very idle. And this is why you have the time and energy to think about what the other person is thinking and feeling and enter their mindset and read into their intentions and all of this stuff, and you don't understand that when you're doing all that, so whether you're, it's whether it's in the news or it's a fictional character or whatever, but whenever you're doing all that exercise, so although you may feel that you're doing something very productive and something that's making you very psychologically aware, it's actually destroying you a lot. So this is why this is a cautionary note that Baba is giving us. And I'll tell you one thing, even as an instrument of Baba, sometimes people just come and they will tell us everything. So they will tell us the thought, they will tell us the thought behind the thought, then the intention behind the thought, and then how it came, and then how it manifested in action. And then in that time, it is a personal practice that I have to be very sakshi, because if I pay a lot of attention to that, so I just have to understand that this soul, what does this soul need to know? But I don't need to understand what is their mindset, because I don't have to go into that. Because if I go into that, then that becomes my mindset. So it's a very, so some of you are into jobs which require that, or in seva also sometimes there is this situation where you encounter these, somebody is just explaining their mindset and intentions and feelings to you, and then you kind of unknowingly absorb them sometimes. And then Baba tells us two things, especially Baba says that when you put an exclamation mark and when you put a question mark, so most of the times you are not consciously doing it, but when you feel that how this is so bizarre, how could somebody do this, or how could somebody think of doing this, or so then that is the point when you become very unaware. And when you put an exclamation or mark on something, so how disgusting, or how bizarre, or how weird, or then you start going into this analysis of their feelings and intentions, and that is the trap of Maya. And then there is this analysis of feelings and intentions which happens when you put a question mark. Why did they do this? Which place did they come from? Or what was their motive? Or what made them do this? So you want to understand that, and this is all Maya's trap, because by your understanding, their behavior is not going to change. Your understanding of a negative mindset is going to affect your behavior negatively. Your understanding of Baba's knowledge and direction, when you share with that soul, maybe they'll benefit. But your understanding of their mindset is not going to do any good to their mindset, is it going to? So your understanding of their mindset, their negative mindset, is only coloring you negatively. But instead of thinking about the solution, you think that the solution is related to the problem. So first let me understand the mindset, let me understand the intention, but you don't need to understand all of that. The solution is always the same. They have to know the soul, they have to know Baba, remember Baba. So sometimes people say that because somebody understands me, they can give me a solution. No. You can give them a solution if you understand Baba, who is the provider of solutions. You cannot give them the solution by understanding them, who are the creator of the problem. So Baba says that don't fall into this trap. And the trap is when you put an exclamation mark or a question mark. But Baba says instead always put a full stop to anything and everything that's going on. Just put a full stop, don't think about it. And if there is an opportunity for seva, then just share Baba's teachings and guidance with them. But never think about anything that's negative, never delve into the mindset of the negative person, or never, so I remember there was this one Mata, and she told me something very nice. She told me that when I was maybe 10 years back, I was very naive and I didn't understand people's intentions. And now I'm not that naive. So I understand people's intentions. So I said, so then what did you do about, so what was the gain from it? So she said, now instead of, so now I understand their intentions, so I don't fall prey to them. So I said, but how do you know that what you understood was a response or a proactive state? So do you understand that? So maybe that intention has now become your intention. And instead of being cheated, you are the one who are cheating and betraying. And she said, but no, that's not possible. I'm not that person. So I said, just check that. Because you see that the thing is, if you understand the negative, so one day you were feeling betrayed, but if you delve too much into the negative, you will not be the betrayed, you will be the betrayer. Because now you are thinking ahead of them. You are thinking, you are creating a destiny for yourself. Previously they were doing something, you were responding to it. Now you have become the creator of that same destiny. But whether you are betrayed or you betray, in both the cases you don't have good relationships. So even if you are betrayed and there are situations where somebody has come with a negative mindset or negative intentions and they do something, you don't think about them, because you will not become the one who is not betrayed, you will become the betrayer if you think about them. And this is a very interesting thing that Baba is telling us today. So don't fall into this trap of Maya. Don't try to understand the negative. And in the world, people who understand the negative are very praised. And I remember there was this one small gathering we had in somebody's residence, and there was a brother, and he was seemingly somebody who understood personalities and this and that. And then he just said, he pointed out to a woman and he said, this woman is very negative, very controlling, and I can tell you from her walk and everything and whatever. So he said that she is the most negative person in the room. So then everybody started thinking negative about that that woman, and then I was there. So I told him, I have not seen her do anything negative, but I have seen you speak negative. So you're the first person who is speaking negative, and she's at least respectful about this whole setup, and she's not done anything. Maybe you are right, maybe she is a negative person, but up until now she has not done anything which has, she has not allowed that negativity to manifest. But you have started speaking negative even before she has done anything. So what has that made you? So why do you have to go into that? If somebody is negative, let them be. Why do you have to think about it? Why do you have to, disturb your mind about it or spoil your karma by talking about it? So Baba says, you know that this is Kali Yuga. Don't you know that? Baba has told us this is Kali Yuga, and in Kali Yuga, what do you expect? This is what's going to be there in Kali Yuga. So why do you have to think and analyze and just play in the mud and dirt and get dirty all the time? So don't think about. So even if somebody came into, so very closely also, sometimes you see somebody behaving very unexpectedly or something, but don't go into analyzing what was their intention, what was their feeling. Don't try to absorb all of that. Just put a full stop. It is what it is. It was the scene in drama and it happened, and I don't want to go into the mindset of why they did this, what was their thought process, and where did how could and then you go into their history and background, and then don't do all of that. It's not relevant to your journey, and you don't need to do that. So Baba says, just put a full stop and never put an exclamation mark. Never be so. So who puts an exclamation mark? Those who don't know the drama. So if you have the knowledge of the drama, you know that this is the time of karmic settlement. This is Kali Yuga, and in Kali Yuga things happen suddenly. Things happen suddenly and they have a spiritual reason. You don't have to go into the physical reasons of it. It was a karmic settlement, it had to happen like this, it happens every 5,000 years. So don't think about it. So don't go into the analysis of physical and psychological reasons for why somebody did what they did or what happened, why it happened. Just understand that the drama tells you that this is how it's going to be now. Things will happen suddenly. And when they happen suddenly, because you know they'll happen suddenly, you don't put an exclamation mark. You put a full stop. The full stop that this is how drama is. And whenever you put an exclamation mark, you can't stop thinking about it because you are intrigued. You are not okay with what happened. So then you will keep analyzing. Whenever you put a question mark, you'll keep analyzing. A full stop is a complete stop. And the full stop is put when you use the knowledge of drama. So this is how Baba is trying to, caution us against Maya. Then Baba today says that the true Dipavali is when the light of we souls is ignited. And Baba says the true Dipavali is Satyug. And in Satyug, so right now Baba is igniting our light. So the soul is being lit up. But then Baba says that you will be fully, in your enlightened state, and you will not be flickering, and you will be stable when you go to Satyug. Now Baba says knowledge is what brings the light of the soul back. And you see, first thing that Baba gives us to pull us out from darkness to light is knowledge. So the first thing you need is knowledge. And you see, when we conduct programs, So we go for a session and there is a new, so there is a whole, group of souls who have never listened to any gyan. Then you have to knack your head to think about which point of knowledge to start with. Because you see, all the light that has to come back through knowledge. But where do you start? What is the point that you make? And I was just thinking that the first thing that Baba makes us understand is that you think that, you see, Maya, in Ravan Rajya, we are trained to believe that you can control everyone and everything, but you can't control your thoughts, feelings, emotions. Yes, and you keep trying to control everyone and everything, and you say, I want this, or I'll feel very sad and bad. So you think that wanting it, getting it is a possibility, but feeling happy without it is not possible. So it's so interesting that Ravan trains us into thinking and experiencing the complete opposite of what is our true nature, and you think that it's completely possible to have a perfectly healthy body, disease free, and everybody listening to you and doing exactly as you want, and you having everything that you want, and every situation being the way you want, and you think that's completely possible. But the only thing that's not possible is you creating thoughts and feelings that make you comfortable. So, and in Ravan Rajya, you're told that, your mind is a horse and it can't be tamed, and that's the only horse that can't be tamed. All other horses can be tamed. So that's so interesting. And then Baba comes and tells us, you are a soul, you have a mind, you have a buddhi, and you have a sanskar. And you are the master of all three. Your thought, your focus of attention, your feelings, your decisions, your choices, they are all your creation. And the thing is, before we came to Baba, we never tried it, because we were never told that you can change your thought and feeling. And I remember there was this little boy, and he was, I think, 12 years or something, and his mother brought him to the center, and he told me, I have anxiety. So I said, so what happens when you have anxiety? So he said, I have these uncontrollable feelings, and I feel scared or worried, or I feel very nervous. So I said, okay, when you have those feelings, tell yourself, I am a soul, this is my mind, and I can feel peaceful whenever I want. And whenever your mind starts thinking about those things that make you nervous, tell your mind, stop, go here. Think about this, I am a soul, I am peaceful, I am absolutely calm. And then he said, okay. So he was only 12, he was very, very obedient. And when I told him that, he did that and he succeeded. And then, he never complained about anxiety again. And then 5 days later, I asked him, so do you feel anxious? He said, no, you told me, you talk to your mind like that. So now I do that and it's all good. And then everybody, in his circle, whenever anybody said, I have anxiety, he would say, no, that's very simple, I'll teach you. So you tell your mind, stop, don't go there. Think, I am a peaceful soul, I am calm, and it will feel calm. So your mind listens to you. So he said, I didn't know that my mind listens to me, or I can talk to it. So the thing is, you talk to everybody. You talk to everybody physically, you talk to everybody in your mind also. but you don't talk to yourself in your mind. So in your mind, you're talking to everybody. See, when you have an argument with somebody and then you're not able to, finish that argument, you're finishing that argument in your mind. So you're pulling that person up and then talking to that person and telling them all the things that you want to tell them. But you're not telling what you want to tell yourself in the mind. And the most important question is, you have never made a decision about how you want to talk to your mind or how you want to make yourself feel. So, you are always telling other people that you don't make me feel like this, you don't talk to me like that. But you are never telling yourself that how would I like to talk to myself or how would I like to make myself feel? Because I am the only person who has the power to make myself feel and think thoughts that I want to. And you never sit with yourself, you never talk to yourself, you never talk to yourself about who you are, and you never try to make yourself feel better about yourself. And this is so interesting that Ravan we never think about this. We never think about this until we come to Baba. And Baba says that you sit with yourself, you become soul conscious, you talk to yourself lovingly, peacefully, in a worthy way, value yourself. You are asking everybody to value you. You talk to yourself that I am very worthy and Baba loves me. And so Baba says that this is the most interesting thing. First thing that knowledge gives us is you are a soul, you are the master of your mind and intellect. And then we didn't know that you can shift your focus of attention. Yes, you didn't know that you can shift your focus of attention from outside to inside. Yes, and I remember there were two brothers and sisters, both in school, and they came, and then the brother said that the sister is elder to the brother by 3 years. So the brother said, my sister shouts at me like anything. And I told him, how much can she shout? She's only 3 years elder to you. So he said, you can't even imagine the way she shouts at me. So I said, okay, then what do you do to do that? What do you do in that situation? So he said, I take my bicycle and I run away. I just go somewhere. So I go to the field, or I just don't, whenever she starts shouting, I pick my bicycle and go away. So I said that, okay, so, and what do you do when it's raining or, it's night time and you can't run away? So he said, that's the problem, Then she sits on my head and shouts, and I have to take that in. So I told him, what you can do is, you can just take your attention from outside to inside and here but not here. And he said, is that possible? So I said, yes, if you practice. So if you just practice, your buddhi is like a muscle and you can project it outwards, you can pull it inwards. And he learned that. And now he says, she keeps shouting, I don't mind. I know that that's her nature and she'll keep shouting. So you see that this is so interesting that Baba teaches us that you don't have to physically run away. You can just unplug your attention and you can see but not see, hear but not hear. And this is wonderful knowledge that Baba gives us. And Baba says that I am the only one who gives you the knowledge of the Creator and the beginning, middle and end of creation. And I'm not even talking about the beginning, middle, and end of creation. I'm just talking about the soul, the creation. And you see, just knowing that you have a mind, you have an intellect, and you can use it the way you want, it's great power. And then recently, what I've been thinking about very much is that, you see, in the world they tell you that it's easy and possible to connect with everybody, but it's impossible to connect with God. Yes, and people keep saying, you are my father, teacher, Sadguru, friend, guide, everything, right? Tum mata pita bandhu sakha swami shikshak sajan Sadguru ho. But then you cannot connect with that one, but you can connect with everybody else. Yes, and I recently met a person who has been practicing, who has been wandering in search of spiritual knowledge for very long, and he says, I am a practitioner for 30 years now. And I asked him, so he told me, what do you people say and speak? So I shared with him that, you just go inwards, you consider yourself to be a soul, and you know that your father, the incorporeal God, he lives in the soul world, which is in the beyond, and you unplug your buddhi from here, take it to your father, and you sit with him and feel the love, the care, the nourishment, the power that is giving you. So he told me, what is your qualification that you think you can go and sit with God? So I said, I am his child. That's the qualification. And a child can sit with the father. So he said, but don't you think that we are just, mere humans, and how can you even think that, you can go and sit with God? You have to do years of tapasya before you become eligible to go and sit with God. So I said, no, that is what God tells us, that every soul is the child of God, and every soul deserves and is eligible to go and sit with Baba. And then he asked me another very interesting question. He said, and how do you have the power to leave this body and go to the soul world and sit? So I said, that comes from our practice of purity. So you see, so I told him, we don't engage in lust, we don't engage in any vice, we eat pure food, we don't listen to anything of this old world, we don't watch television, we don't engage in sensual pleasure, and that keeps our vibration so very in sync with our spiritual stage. And then we have the power, so we have the eligibility because we are Baba's children, and we have the power because Baba has taught us that these physical disciplines will help you have the spiritual purity to disengage from here and engage there. And he said, do you sometimes find it difficult to go? I said, yes, if I have talked too much, or I have been in waste thoughts, or if I have been, discussing or things that, more than necessary, then I can't fly, because that becomes a burden and then it pulls me down. So, but otherwise, if you follow Srimat, if you're not erring anywhere, if your disciplines are perfect, then it's perfectly possible and perfectly natural for a soul to disengage from the body mentally and then go and sit with Baba and take the love, take the peace, take the purity in that you very much deserve. So then he said, this is wonderful. I thought that, you have to spend your life looking for God, and then God is very distant and you can never have him. But I still don't have the confidence that, with the confidence you're talking, I don't feel that. But maybe I'm conditioned to feel like this. So he said, I'll try. So you see that Baba, so the whole world tells you that you can only not connect with God. But Baba tells you, I'm your father, teacher, Sadhguru, I'm the one you have all relationships with. You are my child and I'm here for you. So why can't you connect with me? And you are perfectly eligible, you're my child. But just follow certain disciplines because you have a burden of sins on your shoulders. So until and unless you work on that vibration, that negative Ravan Rajya or Maya ka Rajya will pull you down. So you have to practice certain physical methods and certain things about and in not engaging the mind in expansive and negative thinking. So this is something that Baba tells us, and knowledge brings light, and Baba is the source of light. And until you know yourself, you know your powers, you know your eligibility to have yoga with Baba, you have the confidence that you can have perfect yoga with Baba, how do you draw power? So first thing is knowledge, and then Baba fills you with the light. Okay, Om Shanti.